Next, I would like to bring up two of my good friends who I had the pleasure of meeting for the first time less than a year ago. I can't believe that it's already been almost a year. It seems like it was just yesterday in a lot of ways. But two friends of mine from Redding, California. I'm going to briefly read both of their bios and then ask both of them to join us on stage. Ken Williams began a pursuit of his true sexual identity in 1987 when his battle against homosexuality grew into intentions of suicide. During the following years, Ken gave himself to desperate prayer, counseling, and research. Eventually, Ken began to experience God's involvement in his journey and received healing of trauma, forged a deep intimacy with God, and established a masculine identity. Today, Ken helps others find genuine identity and pursue resolution of same-sex attraction. He holds a BS degree in marketing and finance, has been a pastor at Bethel Church in Redding since 2006, regularly ministers in the Man Alive Purity Ministry, is a co-founder of Equipped to Love, a ministry to those impacted by homosexuality, and serves Moral Revolution as a full-time as an author, lecturer, and minister. His greatest joys are his beautiful wife and their 4 incredible children. Also, Elizabeth Wanning is with us, the other co-founder of Equipped to Love. In her early 20s, Elizabeth came out as a lesbian and embraced the LGBTQ community. She attended a Presbyterian USA seminary, openly lesbian, and did ministry within the LGBTQ community. Over time, her faith led her to question her sexuality as a lesbian, which ultimately led to a change in her sexual experience. Today, Elizabeth no longer experiences same-sex attraction and is married to her husband, Doug, of 13 years. She teaches at Bethel School of Ministry and is a co-founder of Equipped to Love and Changed, which focuses upon sexual identity and the life after LGBTQIA+. She holds a master's degree in theology and is a licensed pastor at Bethel Church. Ken and Elizabeth, it's my honor to welcome you both here today. Thank you.
Thank you. It's great to see all of you today. We're here, we want to defend a people group that really is not defended very well today. Maybe by this group that's here, but definitely not legislatively at this point. And it's people that have left homosexuality. And even though you don't see it on TV very much, there are thousands of people out there that have left homosexuality. You just don't hear, it's just not popular. And we're here defending them. And so there's a movement that we found ourselves leading called changedmovement.com. And you can go there and you can see many different testimonies of people that have left homosexuality and are living really fulfilling lives. And this legislation, you can imagine, if this is our story, if we were in pain and experiencing homosexuality on a moment-by-moment basis for years, and we're not fulfilled in that. We were depressed. Self-hatred was a gigantic issue in my life. I wanted to just delete me and have him. I want to replace me with him. This was not just, I found someone who I'm in love with. No, mine came from, I hate me, and I would rather have him than me. And it became sexualized. That is not uncommon with him. It's not the only story, but that is not uncommon. And we know we have so many friends now that are part of this movement and others that there's sexual confusion. Some of them, it says from early childhood, as long as they can remember. Others of them, it happened in college. Others, it happened in their 30s. In other words, there are many different factors that contribute to who we believe ourselves to be, and even to our sexual attractions that we experience. And if we start introducing, the language of that measure that was just read was if the education framework is challenging norms or challenging children's understanding of their identity, what kind of damage is that going to cause? What does 10 or 20 or 30 years look like from now when a child was developing naturally, was in alignment with their own biology, but someone came in from the outside and challenged their ability to bond with children that they would normally have bonded with and found great fulfillment? We all have seen little girls congregate with little girls and little boys congregate with little boys. Now, while I was not that. I didn't fit with the boys, I didn't think, so I congregated with the girls. But I missed out on a lot of fulfillment and identity that was there for me that I didn't know how to access. And I can tell you, if we think that scrambling up the soup even further and insisting that nobody be able to identify with someone that's like them based on some norms of society, that we're going to get a better outcome, how do we know that? Men get a lot of life from finding synergy with other men, and so do women. And to say that that's wrong or to confuse children at an early age, I don't think we know what we're messing with. So we need to create, you talk about a safe space, you want to talk about equality. Challenging someone's ideas, I don't think is about equality. Let's let the parents, let's let the families create whatever options and spaces that they want for their own children. But that is absolutely no business of the California government.
I don't think I can top that. So passionate. You know, the only thing I can really add to that is that the suggestion that you could be something other than you feel you are opens the door, in many times, for young women to question their sexuality. I can't tell you how many women I know who never would have even questioned their good, close, non-sexual relationship with their peer had it hadn't been for an adult or a peer who bullied them into questioning their sexuality that led to deep, deep crises in their identity. And so what the state of California is recommending we do, well, let me just take a step back. One thing that I want you to consider, the framework and the education, the sex ed curriculum that they're trying to propose is born out of a desire to protect children from the experiences that Ken and I had as young children. Feelings of not belonging, feelings of never relating to your own sex, feelings of self-hatred even, feelings of suicide, feelings of never being fully loved. That's the heart behind this curriculum. But the problem is, by establishing this curriculum, they're going to broaden the problem. Why not introduce programs that would be more sensitive to students who are questioning their identity, and bring parents in who could volunteer and meaningfully speak into the identities of children in a way that would guide them towards the truth of their identity, as opposed to creating an environment where a child of 5, 7, 9, 13 is presented with a myriad of possibilities for their life that they have to choose from of their own volition. The Bible says you raise your child in the way he should go. We have, as parents, a requirement from the Lord to establish our children's identity according to what God has ordained. And so we have to be careful not to pass this off. Let me just say that all of us here, we make decisions on what is right or wrong based on the first thing that we've heard. If we hear a principle from the world for the first time, that first mention will be the plumb line that we measure everything else by. And so we as parents have to take it upon ourselves to beat the state of California to our children. We have to be able to tell them, even at very, very young ages, what is right and what is wrong about their sexual identity and around gender identity. We can't wait for that. Even though it's uncomfortable to start talking to our 3, 4, 5-year-old, they must know their true identity, and it has to come from parents. But then secondarily, parents need to get into schools. This framework is inviting parents to volunteer regularly when this curriculum is being presented. You must know when that's going to be presented. Listen to what the teachers are saying and be available to your children to answer those questions so that you know right in that moment your son or your daughter can look to you and say, what? And you can speak into their lives right there. The curriculum does not ever forbid that. So please consider that.
So good. So amazingly said, Elizabeth. And I want you to know, like, that it's not true that there are not resources. I mean, some will say that we don't have, that we're anti-LGBTQ. Okay, we relate to those people in some ways better than we do to, someone that doesn't identify with that. This is our stories. This is our life stories that for her is 15 years gone, and mine 13. Been married for each of us been married to we're not married to each other. I've been married for 12 years. She's 13 years. So we understand this issue at a very deep level, and I want to let parents out there know that there are resources for children that are experiencing some confusion about their identity. We're building some at equippedtolove.com. moralrevolution.com has some, and then restoredhopenetwork.org. Those are great places that parents could go and find books or teachings to figure out, how do I answer my child's questions? Because some children do find themselves experiencing confusion. So there's a better way than scrambling the soup and confusing everyone. So anyway, God bless you. Thank you so much.